Teddy Burriss is a LinkedIn strategist, trainer, and coach. Since early 2010, Teddy has been delivering LinkedIn training and coaching programs for business professionals, guiding them with best practices and tactics of using LinkedIn as a business tool. Teddy uses strategic planning sessions, corporate training and coaching programs, public speeches, virtual workshops, and one-on-one coaching to help his clients in diverse industries master using LinkedIn as a business tool. Teddy uses his Toastmaster, Sandler training, Dale Carnegie coaching, DDI leadership, facilitator skills, networking skills, and certified social media strategist experiences to lead people in the best uses of LinkedIn and other social media tools. Teddy has started business Burriss Consulting Incorporated in 2010 out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and is serving clients globally. Part of his business model is to volunteer guiding business professionals in a career transition and the use of networking, social media, and open conversations to discover new career and business opportunities. With that, today, Teddy is here on using LinkedIn as to network into your next career step. I'm Teddy Burriss.
Drew, thanks a lot. So I'm gonna stand up because I think better on my feet, and I built a standing desk to get me to stand up more often. So hey, I love the business tools that I use every day to achieve the goals that I try or that I am working to achieve. And LinkedIn just happens to be one of those business tools. That is not the only tool that I use to achieve my goals. And for anybody in career search, I would recommend that you have many tools in your tool belt, quiver, toolbox, on your desk. Because if you're not using lots of different tools, then you're missing out on lots of opportunities to achieve your goals. I also wrote a book many years ago, and the title of the book is Networking for Mutual Benefit. And one of the edicts that I wrote in that book is this: networking is finding, developing, and nurturing relationships that mutually move people forward through life. There's nothing in that edict about selling, and there's nothing in that edict about finding a job. It's all about finding the right people, building some level of relationship so you get the opportunity to help each other. And by the way, there's an old dead guy, his name's Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie taught me this. He said, the words I got from my Dale Carnegie training were this: give. And the more you give, the more you'll receive. And you can call that whatever you want: life, God, karma, Buddha. I don't care what it is. You can call it whatever you want, but it works. The more you give, the more opportunities come your way in lots of different ways. And you got to be paying attention to that. So anyway, networking is, by the way, one of the powerful tactics that we need to use to find our next great job. And I'm a testament to that, at least in my own mind, because I'm 63 years, oh my God, 64 years old this year. Oh my God. And I have never gotten a job through a job board. I have never used a resume to get a job. I've never applied for a job. Did I say I've never been interviewed? I've never been interviewed. And by the way, some other side effects of doing it the right way is I've never had a background check or a drug test. Len, be quiet. Don't say anything about the lack of drug tests. But think about that for a minute. I probably had 8 really significant steps in my career until my wife and I decided to create this business in 2009. And never have I applied for a job, filled out an application, been interviewed, or used a job board to find a job. The reason why I have that ability is because I have an asset that I own, metaphorically, that you could as well. And it's called my network. My network opens doors for me all the time. And I refer to my network as my most important asset in life. Think about that. It's not the $83 million portfolio that I believe I have in my feeble little mind. It's not my house. It's not my car. It's not my baseball cards. It's not my Betty Boop collection. I have 2 dolls, Drew, just 2. It's my network. It's my most important, most valuable asset I own. And the reason for that is because everything that I achieve through life in some way or another comes through my network. Now, I share that all with you because my LinkedIn network is a piece of that overall asset. It's not the only piece. It's not the biggest piece. It's probably not the most powerful piece, but it is a piece of my overall network. By the way, my cell phone has in it well over 5,000 names of humans that are alive. And I know that because on a yearly basis, I talk to all of them. And it is also a piece of that overall network because I could call these people, call people and say hello. Oh my God, that's phenomenal. But having that ability and having that network affords me the opportunity to keep being successful in my goals. And I think, now I know firsthand, I know firsthand it could do the same for you if you treat your network appropriately and you build your network appropriately. So let's talk a little bit about how can you use LinkedIn to grow your network. And by the way, drop in chat, heck, unmute yourself if you want to. At any point, unmute yourself or drop into chat and ask me any questions about this because I want you to understand it. I want you to feel the potential, And I want you to be willing to go try some of the ideas I'm about to share with you because that's how you're going to create value, by experimenting. When I used to talk to college students, the professors told me, don't use words like experimenting, Teddy. But you need to experiment. And that's how you're going to discover what can work for you. All right. First of all, there's a phrase that I learned. There's another guy by the name of Keith Ferrazzi. Keith Ferrazzi wrote the book, Never Eat Alone. And I read that book, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. Actually longer than that, probably 13 years ago, because after I read it, I wrote my own book and then I sent Keith a copy of my own book. And in the book, Never Eat Alone, there's a tactic in there that Keith talks about that can be very powerful for you. And that tactic is focused on what's referred to as your weak ties, your weak ties. These are people that you have not talked with. Thank you, Lynn. These are people that you have not talked with in 6 months or longer. These are people that at one point or another, by the way, when I look off to the left, I'm looking at your chat, so I'm not looking at my Tinder account. These are people in your life who at some point or another cared about you, liked you, appreciated you, respected you, loved you. Think about that. How many people in your life that maybe you've worked with in the past, maybe went to school with, maybe were neighbors to, maybe volunteered in the same nonprofit arenas that you've, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are lots of people in our past that we've lost touch with. And you don't know what they're doing today. They don't know what you're doing today. You don't know who they know that you should get to know. And these are people who at some point or another cared enough about you to be willing to help you. And the only reason why they're not helping you today, well, not the only reason, there is that one ex-brother-in-law, that one ex-drinking buddy. They need to stay in the past. We all have that. But there are people who could help you on your journey today. These are called your weak ties. Now, does anybody want to offer either in chat, I'm not going to reference the comment I just saw. That's okay. Does anybody, can you think of someone who's a weak tie to you? Anybody, unmute yourself and share the first name of a weak tie and how did you know them? Besides Drew's example.
No, that was private. Joe Kintner.
Okay. So what did he used to do, Drew?
He just started working for Pico. I just met him. He's weak because we haven't established a relationship yet, but I am having coffee with him next week. But he spoke briefly at a new chamber member orientation that he hosted, paid for the lunch.
Yeah. Now, you just met him, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to go further back, dude. Go back 6 months. Go back a year. Go back 15 years. Those are weak ties. Yeah. Now I get you, Drew. New people that you haven't developed a relationship with, you may look at those as weak ties as well. That's okay. I get that. But what the true definition of a weak tie is in this context is somebody 6 months, year, 15 years ago. And those are the people I want you to think about. I'll give you an example. Lisa. Lisa and I worked together before 1997. It was probably, wow, whoa. It might have been 1991 or 1992. Lisa and I were, about to say Lisa and I were recently married, but she was married to one dude and I was married to my wife. We worked for a small computer company in Gaithersburg, Maryland in the mid 90s. And I went my separate way. She went her separate way. And then one day I was on LinkedIn. And by the way, I keep a folder. I have a folder right here of my weak ties. That's the maps. Where's my weak tie list? I have a pile of names, just a big old pile of names of people, employee list of companies I worked for in the past. And so one day I was working through this list and I saw Lisa's name. I went to LinkedIn and looked for her. I went to Facebook and looked for her, look for her on Instagram. I found her on LinkedIn and I found that she started a consulting company. I found her on Facebook. I sent her a Facebook message. Lisa, what the heck is going on? How the heck are you? And then I also said, I'm going to send you a LinkedIn Connect request. Sent her a LinkedIn Connect request. We connected. She said, let's talk. It's been 30 years or whatever. I think it was 25 some odd years. We got on the phone. We started talking. You know, she knew that I was married. She knew I had 4 kids. She knew I moved to North Carolina. I didn't know that she moved into Washington, D.C. I didn't know that she and a friend of hers started this consulting company. I told her what I was doing, and she says, oh, my God, I need that. My team has just been talking about ways of using LinkedIn better. Open the door to a project. That's an example. That's not the only example. That's probably my weakest tie 25 some odd years ago. And I got work out of it. And so think that way. I didn't know what Lisa was doing. I didn't know who she knew that I should know. She didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know how I could help her. So reach back. My point of this is look at your weak ties. Find them. Say hello to them. Strike up a conversation with them about them and see where it can go. Maybe they need your help and you don't know that. Maybe you need their help and they don't know that. So that's a challenge for you. I know firsthand it can be a rewarding challenge. And you never know where it's going to go. You never know where it's going to go.
Can I make a comment? Can
Yes.
I jump in? That matchmaking, I think of a Chamber of Commerce should be a venue for that because people join Chambers of Commerce to get exposure for the company and to meet people to further their business agenda. And that matchmaker skill is a very rare one where you meet someone and you take a total interest in what their needs are and match them with people you think might be a good connect for them.
Yeah. So I did not stage this, and Drew is not a prop. I got to learn how to spell. but that opens the door to the next point. So I'm a certified career transition specialist. I've been doing career coaching since, I don't know, 2005. Did outplacement work for many, many years. I've been a part of 4 really active job search groups. One in Greensboro, North Carolina, one in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I volunteer for a veterans group called Veterati. I do work in San Francisco with a job search group. I do work in what's that city that starts with a big pencil? Seattle, in Washington. Can I say Washington State? I know there's no R there. And but my point is that I've spent a lot of time helping job seekers find ways to uncover their next great opportunity. I will tell you that I've proven that the #1 failure for job seekers is this. Hey, do you have a job? Hey, do you know about a job? Hey, do you know anybody hiring? Hey, if you know anybody who's hiring peanut butter makers, let me know. Hey, if you know anybody looking for dust bunny collectors, please let me know. Hey, if you know anybody who's looking for a project manager, please let me know. That doesn't work. For the most part, that doesn't work. What does work, and by the way, you do this in real life and you can do this through LinkedIn. By the way, if you ever want to get into conversations with anybody on LinkedIn, don't make the conversation only in LinkedIn. If you make the conversation just through LinkedIn messaging or just through email, there are too many guardrails around that. And you don't need all those guardrails around. Wow, that's guardrail. I got to write that down. Guardrails. You don't need to be in a place where you're trying to have a conversation and the guardrails are so narrow that you can't have a real open conversation. So get off of LinkedIn, get out of email as quickly as you can, and get into what I refer to as IRL, in real life conversations. And you do an in real life conversation, whether you're in job search, business development, or you're looking for that next date, you do these in real life conversations, kneecap to kneecap, which means you are in the same room, eyeball to eyeball, which means you're using digital presence, maybe a Zoom call or a FaceTime call or a whatever, or you do these in real life conversations ear to ear. But if you truly want to have a conversation with someone and really have a meaningful discussion, get out of InMail, get out of LinkedIn messaging, get out of email. That's a rant. Thank you for letting me discover that. Think about it for a minute. Kneecap to kneecap, you can truly feel how that person is thinking when you're talking to them. Eyeball to eyeball. I can see what Lynn is thinking. I can see Drew's brow. What's it called when his thinking lines pop up? Yeah, I can see what that person is thinking and I can respond to them in the best possible way. You can't do that in email. So if you really want to have a real conversation with someone, get into in real life. Now, back to where I was going. The worst thing you can do is send messages to people, say, if you know about a job, let me know. What you really want to do is you want that person to know a little bit about who you are. And by the way, if you've never heard of a networking profile, Lynn, do you guys use networking profiles outside of LinkedIn?
Yes, we do. We call them one-pagers.
Good. And one-pager is who the heck am I and what the heck do I want to do, right? Yeah, so if you don't know what a one-pager is or a networking profile, find out what that is and get yourself one. And you need to have your one page or your one sheet, and you need to make sure that those that care about you have seen it. Listen to the words, those who care about you. That doesn't mean mail your one pagers out to everybody. But as the people who care about you, the people that you know, the people who trust and respect you, know a little bit more about you, then you never ask for a job. This is what you ask for. Who do you know that you think I should meet next? That's the question. That is absolutely the most powerful question to ask. because the more people who can introduce you to more people for you to have conversations with, the more opportunities you have to uncover more opportunities. The more opportunities you have to uncover next great conversations. Drew, thought?
So if you're having this conversation with them and the discussion is about them, which I think makes sense, like you had said, and you ask that question, how do you get that question within context? Meaning, how do they know who the next great person that they know you should meet?
Drew, that's a great question. It really, first of all, following the Dale Carnegie principles, make the conversation all about the other person. And Teddy Burriss, because I do this all the time, I've always got to add my Teddy-isms to my Dale Carnegie-isms. So always make the conversation about the other person, comma, until they give you permission to make it about you. And the moment you get that permission to make the conversation about you, then Drew, I can tell you, Drew, dude, I'm a LinkedIn strategist. I love teaching LinkedIn as a business tool. It's a whole lot of fun for me. I love working with business developers and sales professionals who want to get more value out of it. Hey, Drew, listen, if you ever run across somebody that you think I should have a conversation with, could you just do me a huge favor and just send me an email, copy them on it, and introduce me to them? And then you and I might engage a little more. And you may, if I showed you that I cared about you enough, you may come back to me and ask me more questions about what I do. And then I might say, Drew, for me, at the end of the day, where did the phrase come from at the end of the day? I need to start this in the morning, not in the evening. But at the end of the day, for me, I love talking to sales leaders who have sales teams of 50 or more. That makes the other person think. And that other person might think, as Linda did years ago, when Linda and I were sitting on the board of the local March of Dimes, and we worked together for 5 years. And Linda, when we were getting ready to disband that board, and Linda said, oh my God, Teddy, I've had so much fun working with you. I don't even know anything about you beyond your wife's name and your kid's name. She said, what do you do for a living, Teddy? Because we've never talked about that. And I said, well, Linda, I back in those days, I sell IT solutions. I help, CIOs and directors of IT make sure they have the right team in place and make sure they have the right systems in place. She goes, oh my God, I need to introduce you to my husband. And I said to her, well, Linda, what's your husband do? Well, he's the CIO of company XYZ, multi-billion-dollar company in Greensboro, North by God, Carolina. And I'm like, I know that company. It's on my list. I don't know the CIO. And little did I know that her last name and his last name were the same. But we had a great conversation. We worked together. When she knew a little bit more about me, she said, oh my God, I need to introduce you to my husband. Now, let me tell you the rest of the story. She asked me for my business card. So I handed her my business card and she wrote on the back of the business card, I love this guy. I'm like, whoa. I want to talk to your husband. I don't want him to shoot me. She goes, oh, that won't get him riled up. But where he finds the card, he'll call you tomorrow morning at 7. I said, where are you going to put the card? On his pillow. 7 o'clock the next morning, 7-ish, he calls me and we laughed. And then he asked me a little bit more about how I knew his wife, and I told him. And it was a really cool connection. And then we had subsequently had multiple conversations. Did it turn into business? No. But I created a new connection, and it turned out to be a pretty cool connection. This is how you move forward in life. You don't tell people what you're selling. You ask for introductions, and you have no idea where it's going to go. Questions, thoughts, ideas? Always, go ahead, Lynn.
Always be connecting. Know your ABCs.
Yeah.
I mean, just how I use this is if I'm meeting you for the first time, one of the things I'll ask you if we've started to build some rapport is I'll tell them a technique that I've used I've had a lot of success with, particularly if they're in a career that's important to meet new people. And that is hey, I can look through your LinkedIn and create a feeder list, but quite honestly, I don't even know you that well to know the backstory of some of these people. And if I ask you off the top of your head who you can think of, you're probably not going to be able to think of someone. So my favor that I would ask you is that we go into your LinkedIn connects together. I can set you up on Zoom since we're LinkedIn partners. We just go into your connections, I'll paint a picture of who I'm looking for. And then as we're going through these people, we can talk about who might be good. And I've had some good success with that and getting meaningful connections.
Yeah, Drew, I have mixed feelings about that perspective of opening up your Rolodex. Let's put the Rolodex on the table here and let's go through your Rolodex. That's okay if you know the person well enough. I do account-based marketing philosophies, even for job seekers. Don't focus on the human, focus on the company and the industry and the region. Then you find the humans. So, that's why I may, in my one sheet or one pager, I may say companies that are of interest to me are this company, this company, this company. And then I can find someone, they can say, oh my God, Teddy, my brother-in-law works for IBM. He's in the procurement division or whatever. There's what's the phrase? There's 6.5, 1 dozen another way to skin a cat. And where'd that come from? But so absolutely, whatever way you can get that person to think about who do they know that they should introduce you to next is the best way to move forward. Because a warm introduction to someone you want to talk with is way more powerful than cold calling, cold messaging, cold inviting. So let's go to the next big idea about using, and all of this LinkedIn ties us. I'm not going to go show you the clicks on LinkedIn. You can figure out the clicks. I've already researched all of you and you're smart people. So figuring out the clicks is the easy part, but understanding the philosophy is critical to do this. Let's talk about another philosophy I have. It's called my business card process. Haven't used it so much as deliberately lately as I have in the past. But I'm adjusting it a little bit. By the way, I've already looked you all up on LinkedIn. I've already, actually got your profiles on my screen, all except for Michael and somebody else. I think it's just Michael I don't have yet. I got to go. Oh, no, John. I got to go find John. So if Michael or John would drop their LinkedIn profile URL in chat, that'll help me when we start engaging directly about your use of LinkedIn. But here's my business card process. Every time I got a business card, every time I met somebody in real life and I would get their business card, then what I would do is my process was they all went in my pocket until the end of the day. At the end of the day, I would sit back with a glass of grape knee-high. That might be slightly not telling you the truth. And on my patio, at my Barca lounger or whatever, and I would drink my grape knee-high, and then I would put all of these business card information into two places. First of all, I put it in my personal contacts. I'm a Gmail dude, Google Workplace. And the reason I put it in my personal contacts is because I met that person myself. Second thing I would do is I'd look at that person and go, is this business related? Now, back in the days when I had to work for someone else, I'd go, is this business related? If it is, I would put this person into the business contacts and appropriately manage that data. Then what I would do is I would send them an email. And I would say, oh my God, Drew, great to meet you. Had a great conversation. I'm glad we got together at this event. And then the message would go on relevant to the engagement I had with Drew, which might mean, hey, dude, let's have a cup of coffee again and do a one-on-one. Hey, let's find a time to do a Zoom call and chat a little bit more so we figure out who each other are. I hate these messages that go, I really want to know a whole lot more about your business. And then I want to tell you all about mine. Because that's not what networking is all about. It opens the door for that, but networking is all about me and Drew or me and Kim or me and Colleen getting to know each other a little bit more to discover, is there any relevance? Okay. And by the way, those calls today are 15-minute chats because I don't want to take more of your time than I need to. And I don't want to give you any more of my time than I need to until we discover the relevance. So put them in contacts, put them in business contacts, and then I would send them an email, and wherever the message needs to go, I would let that message go. Then, by the way, in that email, I would say, by the way, Scott, I'm going to send you a LinkedIn invite as well. Why did I say that? Because I want to make sure you know it's coming, because not everybody uses LinkedIn the way I use LinkedIn. Okay. Then I send them a LinkedIn invite. In my LinkedIn invite, I always have a personal note. If you're using the mobile device, you'll find the personal note under the word more or 3 dots. Let me go see real quick and tell you. I can't remember what it is, but you need to always use a personal note. So Andrew, if I dot 3 dots, yeah, it's personalized. It's the 3 dots. Personalize the invite if you're using mobile. Desktop, it says add a note. Always, always, always have a personal note. Even though you may be sitting right beside me, the reason you do that, it leaves a cookie in their inbox. It leaves something there for them to bump into you. And then when they accept my LinkedIn invite, I immediately engage with them again. Now listen to these words. My engagement with them, let me go back to the top of the process. Get a business card, personal contacts, business contacts, send them a LinkedIn invite. And when they accept it, I do this. Depending upon their relevance to me, listen to that criteria. Depending upon their relevance to me, I will either call them, email them, or if I have to, I will send them a LinkedIn message. Look, if you connect with someone who can open the door for a really, really cool job and a really, really cool company, don't be rude to them and send them a LinkedIn message and go, thanks for the connection. If that person could potentially open a door for you and help you move forward, then you absolutely need to get into a real life conversation with them. Again, make the conversation all about them until they give you permission to make it about you. Too often what people do is they collect business cards and they put them in buckets. Like, woohoo, look at the business cards I've collected. Or they connect on LinkedIn and maybe they go, thanks, or they do nothing. Why are we connecting? We're not connecting to collect. We're connecting to get into conversations. That's why we connect. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and I often refer to it as being rude. That's my business card process. So think about that. Practice doing it. Drink great knee high while you're processing your business cards. It's way more enjoyable than drinking orange juice. Questions about a business card process? All right. I got 15 minutes left, right, Lynn? Roughly.
You know, whatever. Yeah, we're not
She
under
just gave
any.
me 2 hours.
We're not
I'm with
under
you.
super strict guidelines. So
The benefits of engaging with your LinkedIn network. Now I'm gonna go to LinkedIn now. So I'm gonna do a screen share. I'm gonna go to LinkedIn. Bow, picky, 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 boom, picky, boom. All right. Whoa, there's that freak. All right. The benefits of engaging with your LinkedIn network. Now, by the way, there's lots of ways to engage with your LinkedIn network. Okay. First of all, hang on one second. I got noise in my background. I apologize. My co-workers downstairs opening the door, letting the mailman in. There's lots of ways to engage your LinkedIn network. Often it can start right here. It can start right here on the what's called the LinkedIn Newsfeed. Now, do not engage with everything you see on your LinkedIn Newsfeed. You don't need to, okay? You need to, first and foremost, you should engage on content and or with people. Now I got to see what's going on with Emma. You got to engage on content and with people who are I'm going to let somebody open up their microphone or use chat and tell me what's the word I'm about ready to use. You want to engage on content and or with people who are
active.
Nope.
In alignment. Oh, that's 2 words.
That's close. That's close, Drew. You can make that 1 word if you change it to a word that starts with the letter R.
Relatable?
Relevant. Relevant is the word. You get the word relevant, and relevance applies across everything you do on LinkedIn and everything you do in networking and everything you do of a conversation. If it's not relevant, you're wasting your time. There's a book that I'm reading this book. It's called Essentialism. I'm going to get the title of the book here in a few minutes. Essentialism. And one of the things that the book Essentialism, teaches us is that everything we focus on needs to be relevant to our goals. Now, our goals are not just business. Our goals are not just career. Our goals need to be life related. But if you make all of your engagement relevant and all the content you consume relevant to you in some meaningful way, then you're going to be spending the right amount, the energy in the right places. So one way to engage with your network is to find their content and consume it, which means read it and then engage on it. A buddy of mine just got a really cool job working for the George W. Bush Presidential Center. Now I've got that queued up for me to call Desjuan, call him and engage with him. I don't need to just drop in here and hit the like button. And by the way, if you want to know the least useful activity you can do on LinkedIn, are you ready to hear what the least useful activity is? It's bumping into the stupid like button. That does not grow your brand. That does not develop stronger relationships. What creates the greatest value is using the comment button and engaging in meaningful ways. So that's one way for you to engage with your network, is through their content. And by the way, I don't need to scroll through the content here. I can just simply go straight to Leda's profile. I can go to her profile. I can scroll down here and find her activity, and then I can click on see all, and I can see all of her activity if she is in fact doing anything. Go to post, and then I can read what she said, read what she shared, and then I can engage with her in a meaningful way. And look at this, 6 people, all they've done is bump into the like button. I want to stand out with Leda. If I want to stand out with Leda, I'm going to read what she said. I'm going to read her quote, and I'm going to use the comment button. That will allow me to stand out way better than these 6 people who the only one I can see is Daniel. I can't even see who the other 5 are. If you want to stand out above everyone else, find content from your target audience, your most important viewer, people who can open the door for you, and engage with them in meaningful ways on their content. And by the way,
sometimes I just like it because I don't have time to engage. So I will go back later if I have time because I've now liked it and it's in my feed.
So Len, I'm pretty blunt about this. So, by the way, I'm Teddy Burriss. I'm full of ideas. Use them as you see fit, which means my ideas don't align with everybody, and I'm okay with that. Hit the 3 buttons right there and save it and come back to it for later. The like button does nothing for you. So if you want to come back to it later, save it.
I obviously, when someone comments on things that I post, it does carry a whole nother level of meaning, but it's also meaningful to me. I guess it's based on the level of relationship you might have with that person too, right? Because there's some people I want them, because I go back and look to see who's liked some of my posts, but you're right, it's next level when you make a comment.
Absolutely. And by the way, that LinkedIn looks at comments way better than the like button. Comments are much more valuable for everybody involved than the like button. So, but they got to have the like button because people like to drop their forehead on the like button and just keep moving forward. So this is number one way: engage on content. Not only your target audience's content, but engage on content that is relevant to you. If I'm a banana farmer and I want to be discovered as a banana farmer, go look for posts that are about banana farming. And boom, there is some. And you can read this content, see who the person is, and if they are relevant and the content is relevant, comment on it. Okay? Look, by the way, I've been using banana farmer for a while lately, and it really does work as a good analogy. So find content, not only your content, but other people's content, and discover who is relevant to you, what content is relevant to you, and then show up to the conversation. This is critical. People think that I can share content all day long and whoop, whoop, that's going to create conversations. It doesn't. It doesn't create enough conversations. So instead of trying to be the person in the networking room who is starting all the great conversations, the viral conversations, don't try to do that. Instead, walk around that room and find another conversation that's going on that's relevant to you. Because you'll be more successful joining other conversations in meaningful ways than trying to always be the one to start the conversation. By the way, you should always try to start conversations that are relevant, useful, honest, transparent. You should always try to start a conversation every now and then, but don't rely on you always starting the conversations. Go join other people's conversations in meaningful ways. Questions about engagement, questions about, this is a high level discussion about content engagement.
Why don't you show where the saved conversations go to pick them up later, since I have 2 interns on here
right here
who just got on LinkedIn last week. So
from the home page of LinkedIn on the web browser, my items. And under my items, you'll see saved posts. On mobile, for those who are using mobile, you'll find that under, you click on your head in the upper left-hand corner, it is, I don't know. I have to go find that.
And do you clean out notifications?
Yeah, when I engage on it, I get rid of it. And then I engage on that and I get rid of it. And you can see I haven't done. Can you
show that technique also?
Right here, 3 dots, unsave. Okay.
Oh, no, I meant up at the notifications up in the top menu bar.
Oh, I'm going there in a minute. That's where I'm going next.
Okay, gotcha. Great, thanks.
So, I think your saved items, I think, I'll have to go find that. I think they're on your profile. See all resources, my items. On your profile, under resources is, and show all resources, that's where your saved item is. So that's one way, engage on content, okay? And by the way, the most powerful way to engage on content is not through the newsfeed, but in fact, go look for it. Look for it by companies, look for it by individuals, look for it by topic. Now, here's another way to engage your network. So, notifications. Notifications are rich opportunities for conversations. 23 people viewed my profile. Okay, now you're not going to have what I have because I'm paying for LinkedIn unless you're paying for it. But I can see that Aaron and someone at Rockingham Community College, I know who that was, Musa, Sabir, and Kenneth all looked at my profile. Okay, and I can see way more than that. Now, here's what's important about this. Just because someone peeked at your LinkedIn profile doesn't mean there's something monumental happening. However, if Aaron works for an organization that is relevant to me, if Aaron is relevant to me and he looked at my LinkedIn profile, then I need to understand a little bit more about Aaron. And so what I need to do is go look and see what company does he work for? What does he do for them? What's the relevance? And maybe I want to find a way to strike up a conversation with Aaron. Now, I could just simply send him a connect request, but what may be more powerful is for me to go find his content, go look at his post and see what he's doing. Okay. Now he asked a pretty interesting question there a year ago. So Aaron doesn't use LinkedIn much because a year ago was his last post, but if we go look at all his all activity, look, he's a serial liker, like, he's a serial liker. And I'm just telling you, okay, there's a comment 2 weeks ago. That's almost as powerful as hitting the like button, or useless as hitting the like button, because he only just said congratulations. And so look for ways to engage with people who just discovered you because they looked at your LinkedIn profile. And again, if they're highly relevant, then what you might want to do is you might want to send him a connect request and say, hey, Aaron, you don't need to use words like I saw you peeking at me around the corner. You could say, hey, Aaron, I saw you on LinkedIn. I looked at your LinkedIn profile, see the company you work with, I see the people you hang out with. And I thought, you know what? Let's say hi. And then I use these words, please join me on LinkedIn. I don't do any mystery stuff like, hey, Aaron, I see we hang out in the same circles, or hey, Aaron, I see we got a bunch of connections. I do my research so that they know that I know a little bit more about them, and so that they know what my relevance is to them. And I invite, listen to these words, I invite them to join me. Then maybe I'll invite them to a conversation. But my point is, these are different ways to use the notifications. Somebody just started following me. Who is she? Is she relevant to me? Gabe went live. I should pay attention to Gabe. Michael touched my stuff. Listen to these words. Anytime someone touches your content on LinkedIn, you need to engage back with them. Okay. Now I've already done that. And now this is one of my uses of the like button. I did hit like to let him know I saw that. But I will tell you this, I didn't stop there. I sent Michael an email and I said, dude, let's talk. And by the way, I may not have used the term dude. But anytime someone touches your content and you see that in notifications, you must respond back. So pay attention to your notifications. I hate that birthdays went away. Okay. I wish they would stay there. For me, it was a great way to engage with people on their birthday.
What do you mean they went away?
I have not seen it. And LinkedIn has talked about it going away and talked about bringing it back in a different way.
I still get it. Every day I get 3 or 4 people on my list that I'd send out notes to.
Birthday. Oh man. I'd love for you, Drew, to give me a screenshot of that if you could, and send that to me so I can go snort at LinkedIn, because mine went away about 3 months ago.
Okay.
And I need to go back. And I told them that happened, and they said, well, we're looking at maybe redoing it. So yeah, I want it back. I want to say happy birthday to Katie. I want to say happy birthday to Kim. I want to say happy birthday to Colleen. Why? Because it creates an opportunity for conversation. Okay. I'm not going to say, hey, happy birthday, let's talk business. I'm going to say, hey, happy birthday. And by the way, anytime I'm going to say happy birthday to somebody, I never do it from that proverbial say happy birthday button. I go to that person's LinkedIn profile, and this is not the right person. I go to that person's LinkedIn profile. I get their phone number or their business email address, and I call them, specifically the people who are highly relevant to my career or business goals. Don't be like everyone else and take the simple route. Take the more deliberate route. Take the more human route. Take the more potential for conversation route. Put a little more energy into this and you will get a little bit better result. If you rely on following everyone else with their simple, careful with your words, Teddy, this is a public forum. If you use the simple tactics, you will get simple results. If you put a little bit more energy into engaging with the people who are important to you, you create a better opportunity to be able to ask this question. Who do you know that I should talk to next? You create a better opportunity for that person to get to know you and be willing to want to help you. And at the end of the day, and again, why don't we start at the beginning of the day? At the end of the day, that's your goal. Your goal is to get more people to know you, trust, respect, and like you. And more people be willing to introduce you to other people for conversations. And by the way, along that whole process, more people to know who you are, what you do, what you can do, and what you want to do. Otherwise, get in line, reading job boards, applying for jobs, and hoping and praying. And job search should not be about hoping and praying. I pray. Job search should be about tactical activities of looking for ways to get into conversations.
I have a question. I have had problems recently going to somebody's profile, clicking message, and attaching another person's profile so I have 2 or more people in messages. Is that a glitch with LinkedIn, or is it just me, or are you having that issue also?
So I can go to messaging right now, and I can hit new message, and I can send a message to Lynn and pick Lynn's name. And I can also type in Kenneth. Are you talking about mobile or desktop, Lynn?
Desktop.
And there's Kenneth's name.
But I used to be able to do it differently.
So you do it down here?
No, I used to be able to click message and then add somebody on.
You're talking about add someone to another message. So here's Carol, and I want to reply to Carol. No, I can't add someone to. This is a private conversation with Carol and I. Now, are you talking about say, hey, Carol, meet Lynn? Like this?
No.
You're talking about include you in the conversation.
Yes, like
you can't
the 3 little dots that were there, I could have added somebody on to add the conversation, and that's been taken away from me. So I guess I have to do it this way now.
You should not be able to do that. You should not be able to do that. Yeah. I think I do remember a time when that was the case, but no, that's not what you not appropriate. Anymore, I would not recommend it. Well, Lynn, Drew, Katie, Kim, Colleen, Michael, Scott, John, thank you for letting me come on today and share this. You can follow me on LinkedIn. Send me a LinkedIn invite, and I'll accept an invite if you tell me you met me through this conversation. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Quora. Follow me to all of the bars where I go buy my grape knee high. And if I can ever help you in any way, all you have to do is ask me a question, and I'm happy to answer any question about using LinkedIn, about networking, and also teach Google Workplace as a business tool. Lynn, Drew, back to you.
Great.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very much appreciate that. This was awesome. It's interesting when we get multiple speakers on similar topics, how we get different perspectives and learn new things. So this was definitely, I've been called I'm a LinkedIn guru, but I'm really not, but you are. So thank you for helping enhance that perception.